Oh, Sandra! What a peach! What an absolute consummate professional! No, I don't only say nice things about my minions when they're about to die. Oh, it's a natural thing to feel some emotion when someone makes the noble sacrifice of turning themselves into a biological weapon. Oh, shut up, Archibald. Just get me out of here. The homunculus and his retinue made their way out of the Symphony of Flesh, the grand flayed skull-class cruiser of Demonis Brahms. The orcs seemed to lose interest in their captives. Like unsupervised children, they were busy running amok in the Symphony of Flesh, pushing buttons and tinkering with things, occasionally to disastrous effect. Maestro Chopovsky chalked up this behavior to orcish stupidity. But in reality, everything was going according to Red Brain's plan. Unfortunately, there was a point in the plan where it just sort of stopped, and they had now reached that point. Archibald the Grotesque dropped the landing ramp, and the retinue exited the ship. As they did so, they found themselves surrounded by rough-looking Komorog gangers. Chopovsky recognized a few death racers, witches, and some of the lesser cabals. The maestro was still regrowing his limbs. His severed arms and legs had regrown long enough that he could walk if he tried, but he could only comically toddle about on his stumpy limbs. Out of my way! I've already had a dreadful day, and I'm in a rush. Move or... Well, I've used up all of my good threats already. I'll do something particularly nasty when I get a chance to come up with it. Oh, you're not going anywhere, Maestro. Bonepicker stepped forward. The ragged Drukari leveled his blade at Chopovsky. Oh, you! You're that filthy urchin I nearly killed. Nearly. And that was your mistake. Chopovsky looked around at the thugs that surrounded him. The wheels of his twisted mind were turning. No, it's fine, Archibald. Very well. You all clearly outnumber me. I surrender. The Grotesque set Chopovsky down at the feet of Bonepicker. The gaunt Drukari grinned widely. This was his chance to regain his glory. Yes, he's mine. I don't think so, vermin. That homunculus belongs to the Bone Splinter Coven. I'm claiming him for the cabal of the Searing Brand. No, he's the property of the Suicide Boys. Chopovsky only grinned as the gangs quickly fell to infighting. Meanwhile, Sandra the Rack was slowly making her way through the Symphony of Flesh. She had been infected with the Maestro's miasma, and was beginning to swell with infection. Once she reached the life support unit, she would burst, spreading the lethal pathogen throughout the Symphony of Flesh. Even the orcs' hearty constitution couldn't save them. One whiff of the miasma, and there was no going back. Each of the orcs would pop like putrid flesh balloons. As Sandra neared the life support room, Poodle, the massive attack squig and beloved pet of war boss Gitslaya, sniffed the air. There was a funny smell. The mouth on legs followed the strange smell until he rounded a corner and found himself face to face with the ever-bloating body of Sandra. Poodle growled at the strange, stinky thing. Sandra drew her blade, though her body was quickly becoming too swollen to properly defend herself. Her rack blade was designed to cause searing pain at the tiniest scratch. She hoped she could get in a tiny wound on the squig and chase it off. If she wanted to ensure no survivors, she had to make it to the air recycling unit. She awkwardly lunged at the enormous hungry squig. Poodle hopped backwards, avoiding the initial swing, unsure what this strange thing was or what to do about it. Of course, when the tiny brains of squigs can't figure out the nature of something, their instinct is simply to eat it. Sandra tried to regain her balance for another strike, but her bloated body kept her from recovering quickly, and Poodle was on her. The large attack squig bounded forward and opened its yawning maw and chomped down on Sandra, swallowing her whole. It wasn't long before the rack slid down the squig's gullet and into his digestive tract. As the acid burned away the flesh of Sandra, the miasma was released. The foul gas began to bloat in Poodle's belly. The poor squig began to swell and swell, making pathetic, pained, whimpering noises as it ran off to Gitslaya for comfort. The big-bellied squig bounded onto the bridge where Gitslaya and Redbrain were figuring out the controls to the symphony of flesh. The bloated beast let out a keening cry that got the war boss's attention. Oh, what's the matter, Poodle? Did little Timmy fall in the well again? Wait, why's you all fat and weird looking? And why's it so stinky? Why's it keep getting bigger? Zog, it looks like you're about to pop! Gitslaya picked up the suffering squig to examine it. Poodle only whimpered in pain. Poodle the squig let rip a massive fart that was so vile and so nasty that Nurgle himself would have been jealous. The Orks on the bridge, creatures that were accustomed to all manner of unsanitary smells, cried out in surprise as their eyes watered, and yells for someone to open up a window echoed through the symphony of flesh. Poodle let another fart rip, sending up a new chorus of protests. The miasma was an incredibly powerful infectant, but it was meant to be inhaled or introduced to the body by injection or wound. Poodle just swallowed Sandra whole, and the noxious infection went right into his digestive tract. This gave Poodle a nasty case of the runs and produced some of the most vicious farts the galaxy had ever seen. But he would live, which might not be true for all of the Orcs' olfactory senses. As things settled down, Gitslaya and Redbrain prepared to take off as Poodle continued to create terrible smells and horrible messes for the grots to clean up. Outside, the gangs continued to scrap over which one had the right to take Chapovsky captive. As the engines roared to life, there was a cheer that rose from amongst the Orks. "We did it! We did it! Ha! We's gonna get out of this place!" "You're right, boss. Now all we've got to do is find the nearest way out of the webby way thing." "Right, let's go! Where's that?" I have no idea. No man do they call me. My mother and my father, and all my comrades as well. Thank you all for listening to the latest episode of Gitslaya Escapes from Komara. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like and comment, as that helps ensure that all of Gitslaya's squigs receive proper anti-flatulent medications. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe so you can hear more fart-related stories as soon as I write them. And if you have no idea what's going on, you can click on the link to the Gitslaya playlist to hear the story from the beginning, and that should be appearing on screen now. And if you want to support me, you can join me on Patreon for exclusive content or donate to PayPal if you prefer. You can also commission me to do some voice work for you or turn your own story into an audio drama. You can email me to do so. There's also a link to my alternate channel where I post finished commissioned work. Thank you all very much. No Man out.